Next fight up is my second bet of the evening. Katlyn Chookagian, 14-3, taking on Jessica Andrade, 20-8. I'm gonna go ahead and let you lead this one off.
I do know that you're on Katlyn already, so
Dang it,
I
you
won't, I
spoiled it.
won't, I won't shit on Katlyn already. But no, honestly, on first thought, I believe this is a kind of like it should be a pick'em fight. So if it's a pick'em fight, you should be going with the underdog here. I could absolutely see a split decision here. Either the judges look at the forward movement and winging hooks of Jessica Andrade, or they see the footwork and the movement and the picking apart of Katlyn Chookagian. One thing that we need to remember here also is that this is Jessica Andrade going up to 125 pounds. She used to fight at 135 pounds, but now this is her fighting at 125 pounds, and we're gonna see it. We're gonna see the size difference here, and we're going to see it on full display for Katlyn Chookagian. I'm just not 100% certain that she'll be able to get out of the way of the big bombs of Jessica Andrade. But again, like I said earlier, I think it's a split decision type of fight. And in those situations, you go with the dog. You go with the one that has shown that she can move her feet and has shown that she can pick people apart from the outside. Even though last time around we saw her take down Antonina Shevchenko and just absolutely grapple fuck her, I don't think that's the same thing that's going to happen here. Obviously, she's going to go out there and pick her apart from distance. It's just going to come down to what the judges score more. Like, we should have a website where we see, okay, this judge scored this fight for this fighter, and this is the style that they are willing to score compared to not
Yeah.
score. You know what I mean? If we're able to put that type of database together and then see what judges are judging fights, we should be able to have a better idea of how to pick fights. You know what I mean? So it's tough to go into these fights being like, okay, if Andrade lands a couple big bombs and she's the one that's moving forward the entire time, but Katlyn Chookagian was the one picking her apart with more shots from the outside, what are they going to weigh more? What are they going to score more?
Yeah.
But I do like your style here in terms of going with the dog because personally, I'm picking Andrade to win, but I believe the style of Katlyn Chookagian and her being a slight underdog is probably the side to be betting here. Otherwise, I'm just staying away. I want nothing to do with a fight that I believe is going to go to a split decision. But if I were to, if you're putting a gun to my head, I'm betting Katlyn Chookagian because I feel like she could be more efficient with her striking from the outside. And again, her going up in a weight, or Andrade going up in weight, is going to have a huge factor here. And we're going to see the range of Chookagian. I know you're going to touch on those metrics. So I know the range is going to be a big thing here for Chookagian, and I think she can be successful with it. So, man, again, it's so tough. I'll pick Andrade, like I said, because I do like that John Lineker type of style where they're just moving forward. And again, if they land a bomb and potentially drops Chookagian, that wipes out everything that Chookagian did in that round, right? So I'm going with Andrade, but I'm not betting this fight. I'm sitting back. I'm letting you enjoy your sweat with that plus 115 or whatever you got on Chookagian. I'm sitting back and I'm just chilling. So good luck
There
to
you
you.
go. I've got a couple things to rebuttal there. You unpackaged a lot there for me. First off, Evans, no MMA guru is MMA predictions guru. My boy, he's on the Friday show here at Odds. So close, but no. So, man, first things first, I've been saying if we could get info on the judges. I mean, it's like pitchers in baseball. Those guys that call the outside ball every single time, like, we need to know that. If we could get a list of the judges so we could handicap who's going to be sitting behind those cards, that'd make a huge difference for us as sports bettors. And I don't know what it is, man. The first time the UFC went over to Fight Island, I had a dead beat. I watched two events and went, I know exactly what these people are looking for, and I crushed the rest of the cards. This time around, however, I don't know what the hell they're doing. Like, there have been so many cards where I feel like they're not filling the cards out as they go. They're picking the winner and then giving them all three rounds in hindsight. That's really what it looks like to me. I have no clue what they're scoring. I don't know what they're grading things on. There have been a lot of questionable judging decisions so far in this second round on Fight Island. So, what I'm doing here with Katlyn, you nailed it, man. I got to tell you the numbers. So, first off, I can't stand Katlyn Chookagian from a sports betting perspective. This woman has stolen so much money from me, it's not even funny. I called the massive upset of JoJo Calderwood. She was a big, juicy dog in that spot, and I hit it hard. She outstruck Katlyn 112 to 82 in significant strikes. Who gets the decision? Katlyn freaking Chookagian. That was one where I was screaming at my TV and fuming for a couple of days afterward. So she showed us she's got some wrestling chops in her last fight, right? We all know Shevchenko's got the issue with the grappling, but I was really impressed and surprised at the grappling that Chookagian was able to show off. I think that's something she's had in her back pocket, and we haven't really seen it a whole lot until now. gave me a new appreciation for that wrinkle of her game. I know it's not hard to look good against Antonina Shevchenko in the wrestling game, but she did. What I looked up was, first off, Andrade. She has always struggled against taller, longer fighters. Now, obviously, that's all she ever fights because she's such a short little tank. But she's coming up a weight class. And with weight cutting these days and the size of these women, it's going to be apparent and obvious that she is coming up a weight class in this one. I pulled up the stats on one Rose Namajunas. Now, I think this is a spot that, honestly, this is almost a little bit scary. The stats are, I'm going to go old school here, virtually identical. Like, we have got 4.19 significant strikes landed per minute on Katlyn Chookagian, absorbing 4.2, so right about striking even with her opponents. Rose just barely outstriking her opposition, 4.13 landed, absorbing 3.98, so, just an inch little more efficient there. But she's got a 50% takedown defense rating, so does Katlyn Chookagian. And then the striking defense and outputs, like they're all identical, except that Katlyn Chookagian is 10 pounds heavier and has 3 inches of additional reach. Jessica Andrade is going to be at a massive 6-inch reach disadvantage. So closing that range and getting in on the body lock takedown is going to be that much harder. And then she's got a woman who is bigger and physically stronger, used to defending takedowns from somebody a weight class above. It's going to be harder for her to get those takedowns as well. It's going to be harder to hold her down once she gets those takedowns. So I just think that Katlyn Chookagian is the exact model of the kind of fighter that we have seen Andrade struggle against. We have a recency bias spot where everyone remembers round 3 of Andrade versus Rose. Everyone remembers Rose was in the driver's seat until Andrade hit that 3rd gear. And people thought Andrade should have won the fight. People thought Andrade should have finished her. And I think they're just piling on to bet her here against somebody who I myself have said is unimpressive in the cage. I don't like the way that Katlyn fights, but this is the person to do that against, man. She's going to play the outside. She's going to stick the jab out in her face. She's going to key on, make more noise than anybody in the arena every time she throws a strike. The judges get sold on that shit. The strike doesn't land, but they count it because she screamed when she threw it. Like, that's a thing that legitimately happens. Chookagian knows how to swindle her way to a decision win. And when you're moving up, when you're a person like Andrade, like I know, like you said, you like that brawler, that John Lineker style, but you got to prove it to me. Like, she's elite down at 115. Up at 125, she's too small, man. And I think she's coming in too deep in the weight class. I think she should have come in a little bit lower, take on somebody not quite this far into the deep end, prove that you can hang there, and then go for it. Because Katlyn realistically is only like, what, 1 fight removed from a title contender type of spot. We're talking number 3 in the world at 125. Yeah, I got to take Katlyn Chookagian as the dog. She's got every advantage in this fight except knockout power.
I think that Andrade actually does have the strength to get this fight to the ground. It's all about getting that distance, though. Like, once she closes that distance, that's one thing. And then 2 is actually getting the fight to the ground. I think she's strong enough to achieve those takedowns. But the one plus I'll give to Chookagian is she has an underrated ground game, too. Mm-hmm. I could see her going out there, being offensive with a guard, maybe trying to go for a sweep or something like that. Maybe that's something that she tries to pull off. But, yeah, it's just such a tough fight for me. I'm glad that you have a lot of confidence on Chookagian here, because that's what you need when you're betting a dog like this. But like I said, I believe it's going to be a split decision. I'm okay with people going with the underdog here just because of that. But it's a close fight, man. It's a close fight. I'm a huge Andrade fan, but I do take those biases out when I'm trying to cap these fights. So yeah, super close fights. Go with the dog. You can't be mad at that.
I feel you. I appreciate the well wishes because I'm gonna need it. It is gonna be close, but that's something that in Fight Island, from what I've seen, if you don't do something with the takedown, they don't seem to care much. So if Andrade does close the distance, if she does push Chookagian against the fence, if she does drag her to the mat, but she doesn't land a whole lot of damage, she doesn't sink in a submission attempt, and Chookagian gets back up and keeps on yawing at her face, and Andrade can't close the distance, she'll get that round. You know what I mean? And that's kind of the angle I'm taking here. We're putting my money where my mouth is. We'll put my read on the judges here to the test.
I just want to live a little bit longer than you, Clint. So good luck. Good luck.
I don't mind sweating those years off my life.